So we get to the question, why 2012? Why did the Maya pick 2012? What's so significant about it? We know that there's prophecies, and the Maya said stuff about 2012, right? And what's going to be sort of amazing, if you don't know already, is that 2012 seems to have been chosen because of a rare astronomical alignment. So that's something interesting to consider, because then all the prophecies appear to be not just, gazing into a crystal ball or something, or having a vision about what happens in the future, but they're actually connected to and related to these astronomical cycles. Next. Which shouldn't be thought of as diminishing the prophecies or the spiritual teachings, because, again, this non-dual insight of the Maya cosmology or philosophy perceives the physical realm and the spiritual realm as unfolding in tandem. Okay, so all these things kind of unfolded for me over the years. I wrote various books through the years, some of which actually got published. My earliest book was Journey to the Mayan Underworld, which was kind of a travelogue that I wrote about my first trip to Central America. Lasted about 4 months, from 1986 to early 1987. And there's lots of misadventures that happened, but I was also doing a lot of research into the nature of shamanism and how shamanism is involved in the formulation of these profound cosmologies. It seemed to me that the insights that shamans would gather by undertaking these visionary journeys and having these expanded states of consciousness in which they could perceive a deeper interweaving of the nature of reality. They actually gain insight into the nature of reality by undertaking these visionary journeys. It seemed to me like the shamans were behind the insights that were encoded into the sacred calendar. Next. And I'm actually digging this book out of the archives. It was published in a very, 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 very small edition in 1989. So I'm digging it out of the archives, and some of the things that, sort of revisiting my own early stuff, I was, after having sort of not even looked at it for a long time, what this book is about, Journey to the Mayan Underworld, the research that I did in this revealed that the Maya calendar is based upon sacred science principles. And the Mayan world ages symbolize the 5 main chakras in a journey of awakening for humanity. Now, usually we have 7 chakras, like Pierre's sculpture over here indicates. But a lot of times in the study of the Tibetan mysticism around this, there's really 5 main ones, because the 2 lowest ones are sort of interconnected and the 2 high ones are also connected. The 2 highest ones are the third eye, the 6th chakra, the Ajna chakra, and then the 7th or highest chakra, which they're sort of connected, is the Sahasrara chakra, the chakra of spiritual, pure spiritual vision. And another thing I realized is that shamanic visions of DNA were responsible for serpent imagery, as well as insights into a fundamental pattern that was encoded into the Maya calendar. So some of you might recognize some of these ideas. They appear in other books. And that I realized that the tree of life is a perfect symbolic expression of that fundamental pattern, uniting the processes of heaven and earth, the microcosm and the macrocosm. And the tree of life symbol is what Jay was talking about earlier, the spherical toroid. And so hopefully I'm going to be able to get this sort of reprinted by early next year. Next. All right, so back to this question, why 2012? Well, we know that it's connected to a world age doctrine. And the great mythologist Joseph Campbell said that anywhere you find a world age doctrine around the world, you can bet that precession is lurking in the shadows. Precession of the equinoxes, this large cycle of time that's caused by the Earth slowly wobbling on its axis. fundamentally changes our angular orientation to the larger cosmos, and one complete wobble is 26,000 years. And Joseph Campbell realized as he looked at, even numbers from the Old Testament, Babylonian material, Hindu material, the Hindu yugas, even the Norse sagas and the sacred numbers of the Viking material, all these numbers were precessional numbers, and they were connected to these world age doctrines. So, next. So precession really looms as a key, a very probable and likely key to understanding what 2012 is about. Next. And the way the precession works, it's called the precession of the equinoxes because the position of the sun on the equinox shifts slowly backwards through the 12 constellations. Here we have in the upper part this horizontal bar with the 12 numbers, the 12 constellations. It basically symbolizes the ecliptic. The ecliptic is the road in the sky that's followed by the sun, moon, and planets. And it's along this ecliptic that actually goes around us in a circle. That's where the 12 zodiacal constellations are found. And the sun on the equinox is located in one of those constellations, but it's shifting backwards very slowly. It's precessing backwards. This is what gives us the world ages in the Western astrological tradition. And we're shifting, through the zodiac signs. Next. So there's many different traditions that are based on precession. Western astrology, the 12 signs of the zodiac that I just mentioned. The mysteries of Mithraism. It was the state religion of Rome for 400 years. Mithraism is a world age doctrine. It's an initiatory mystery cult. And I explored a lot of this in my follow-up book to Maya Cosmogenesis 2012 called Galactic Alignment. And it does seem, as other researchers have explored as well, Jay Widener among them, that there are other traditions from the old world that encode precessional knowledge. And of course, a lot of this sort of insight goes back to the great book Hamlet's Mill, published in 1969. This is really the book that sort of launched this revolution in understanding how sophisticated our ancient ancestors really were, and a deep connection between mythology and astronomy. Next. So precessional knowledge in Mesoamerica, this is a critique that comes up a lot in regards to my theory, my work. If you look at the academic literature, it's quite clear that the early Mesoamericans became aware of this slow shifting of the heavens. And there's a site called La Venta, which was an Olmec site. The Olmec people that was a civilization that was before the Maya and before the Azapans. About 1200 BC is when La Venta was thriving. So when they built their temples and they built their cities, they liked to orient them correctly to the larger cosmos. So there were sort of like target points on the horizon where certain stars rose. And it was significant, it was important for them to be correctly oriented to this. So at La Venta, they angled their main axis of their central temple complex upon the rise point of a certain star. Okay. However, that rise position shifts because of precession. So what did they do? The archaeologists realized this. They tore down their building complex and they reoriented it a couple of degrees so that it would still be aligned with that star. This simply means that they became aware of precession. And then there's another site in Guatemala called Takalik Aba, which was pre-classic, and they did a similar thing about 1,000 years later. So around 200 BC, the people at Takalik Aba did a similar sort of alignment with a group of stones and shifting it as the positions were moving. So, next. And so the question really is, because precession is just this circle, is there something special that happens within the cycle of precession? Next. That is connected to 2012. Next. And this is the galactic alignment. So we've already heard a little bit about this. The alignment, I like to define it very carefully because it's often confused with other things. It's caused by the precession of the equinoxes, and it's the alignment of the position of the December solstice sun with the galactic equator. So because of this wobble of the Earth, and in the center of the slide we can see the Milky Way galaxy, okay? And I got another slide after this, looks good, but in the horizontal line is the ecliptic, so we have like a cross in the sky, the cross of the Milky Way and the ecliptic. That was the Maya sacred tree, the Maya crossroads, and it's a very important feature in the Maya creation mythology. The crosses in the Maya concept targeted the cosmic center. Okay, that's just part of the iconography. It's just a straight understanding of what crosses mean in Maya symbolism. Crosses target the cosmic center. Notice that the cross happens right here. It targets the center of the Milky Way galaxy. Our galaxy is spiral shaped, and there's a wider part where the nuclear bulge of the galaxy is. Next. So over many hundreds of years, the position of the December solstice sun, like the equinox, shifts. So we could equally say the precession of the solstices. It's the same thing. The equinoxes and the solstices shift their position in the sky. And in the years around 2012, the December solstice sun has come into convergence with the center of the galaxy, with the Milky Way. But it's important to define this as the December solstice sun lining up with the galactic equator. This helps us sort of talk about this in a more precise way. Next. And that's the galactic equator right there. It's the exact midline that goes down the middle of the galaxy. Next. All right, so this is probably a better picture, and we can see some of the astronomical features that are involved in the galactic alignment. Along the horizontal ecliptic, we see the positions of the December solstice sun over, say, 3,000 years. And it's been shifting into convergence with the galactic center. So the position C in the middle there is basically the years around 2012. And this is what the ancient Maya were projecting forward to, and why they picked December 21st of 2012 to end this vast 13 Baktun cycle, this world age of some 5,000 years. One of the features is very important here. It's the dark rift, and it's illustrated there. It's basically the sun, connects with the southern terminus of the dark rift in 2012, and the Maya mythologized these astronomical features in several different ways. They sometimes thought of the Milky Way as the cosmic monster in the sky, in which case the dark rift would be the mouth. Sometimes they saw it as the cosmic ball court, so then the dark rift would be the gold ring in the ball court. They also saw it as the cosmic mother, the Milky Way as the cosmic mother, in which case this nuclear bulge of the galactic center was seen to be the womb of, the pregnant womb of the Great Mother, and the dark rift would then be the birth canal, the birthplace in the sky. So, one thing that's important to point out here is that, sometimes astronomers and scientists, they critique this work and they say that, well, we couldn't see the galactic center until we developed radio telescopes in the 1920s. But they're defining the galactic center as that precise point that can only be revealed when we can pierce through the dust and the clouds to see that. But the point of this is that naked eye astronomers can look at the Milky Way and see this wider part where there's more bright stars in there, and they can see the dark rift. And certainly it appears as if the Maya mythologized and understood this place, this location of the band of the Milky Way, just with naked eye astronomy alone, as number one, a creation place and a center place. It's a straight reading of the academic literature, actually. So, the whole idea that the Maya could not have seen the galactic center is just false.